The Rockport Pirate Precinct 2 County Commissioner Republican Primary Runoff Candidate Forum.
For the audience that's on YouTube, this candidate forum is being streamed live right now on YouTube and also on Facebook. I would like to ask somebody if they can kind of see if people can, if you're in the audience watching or streaming, anybody that gets on, just let me know if you can or can't hear, and we'll make the adjustments as we go. But I want to first start off by saying thank y'all so much for being here this afternoon. My name is Walter Perry. I'm the editor of the Rockport Pirate. We just started. It's a community-oriented newspaper dedicated to giving the news about Rockport, Fulton, and Aransas County. Also, I want to say welcome to the candidates. We have Scott Mapes and we have Abel, Peewee, Solis. They've been gracious enough to come here and answer some questions and also give you guys insight on what they want to do for Precinct 2 County Commissioner of Aransas County. We want to thank the audience for taking y'all time out today to come here. It's always great when voters and the community come out and give their voices and give their thoughts about who they want to serve. As people are in, we're gonna do our best to just keep order. I have some housekeeping rules. One of the first things we're gonna do, we're gonna show respect to the candidates. If there's something that you don't like or something that you may feel you don't agree with, talk to the candidates after the forum. No yelling, no loud talking, no disrespectful language. Candidates, same things go to you too. Y'all be respectful. I'm sure y'all both great guys. But like I said, I'm Walter Perry. I'm moderating this because I feel like this community needs to be a lot more engaged in the voting process. This community needs to be ignited. We have some important issues going on in the county, and the commissioner's court is a serious job. And the community deserves to have somebody who not only knows the job, knows how to perform the job, but knows how to work with the constituents and their colleagues. So with that being said, here are the rules for the candidates. Each candidate is going to receive 90 seconds to answer each question. An optional 60-second rebuttal may be granted at the moderator's discretion. Using a visible timer, somebody can be the timer for me. Can't do both. So if somebody can keep time for me, it's going to be 90 seconds per candidate. When it gets down to 30 seconds, just raise your hand up. Candidates, watch the timekeeper so that way you know. And keep the responses fair and consistent. Allow 2 to 3 minutes for an opening and closing statements per candidate. And the total estimated time, we should be here about an hour or so, nothing more than that. So like I said, I like to introduce each candidate. I'm gonna go ahead and let Mr. Solis stand up first and introduce himself. In your 3-minute opening, I want you to not only introduce yourself, but give us your top 3 issues that you're running on. Okay. 60 or 90 seconds? It's going to be 90 seconds, and then you're going to have a 60. It's going to be an opportunity for a 60-second rebuttal. Oh, the open is 3 minutes. So you have 3 minutes to introduce yourself and give your top 3 issues.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead, timekeeper.
Okay, my name is Abel, Peewee, Solis. I'm retired from TxDOT, worked there for 28 years. I did budgets over $1 million plus every year, every time I was out there. And I also was a first responder for the state during hurricanes, tornadoes, wildfires, everything else. And I worked in Referral County. That's where I was at my end. I started here in Aransas County and went to Referral County. My other main issue is that here is the water. That was the first thing I always brought up since we started coming to these meetings, and it started in June. And I never changed anything. I never said anything different but the water issue. And that's something we cannot fix ourselves. Corporate needs to fix it for us, or the other people, some way, somehow, but we can't fix it ourselves. The next issue is, it's not really an issue, but if y'all know that the commissioners courts handle not just the precinct two, they handle the whole precinct. So we're looking at everybody's budget, and not just precinct two budget. And then we also got to work about on grants, make sure how the grants are done and set out there. You can't just get a grant just because somebody wants it. It has to go to the commissioner's court and to the judge. And then they're going let you understand, go get it or not go get it. And the next thing is that we have here, it's not, I mean, I can't just say precinct two because that's just not gonna be fair to say precinct two. But the whole county, I think we just need to, everybody work together. And I don't see a bunch of problems with the police officers or the cedar or the county police officers. They say that, but it's the people who go to court. They're the ones who make a decision if you're going to stay in jail or you're not going to stay in jail. And nothing the cops can do about it. And I think that's the main issues that we've been talking about and stuff like that. So I guess that's it. I can do some more, but I'll let him finish it up.
You got 3 minutes.
I'm good.
All right.
I'm Scott Mapes. The Navy brought me here in the early 90s, and I decided not to go back north. I enjoyed it here. Worked for some small companies, started a small business for myself, and been in business for 25 years. I'm passionate about the community. I like the vision that the community has. I'm concerned of where we could go with the industry that's south of us. I don't want that to go sour and that big industry affect us. I've pretty much stayed in the backgrounds until it affected my community, my area around me. In 2017, the city was trying to annex Area D, and I spoke up and went to city council, and I'm proud to say that we were one of the only areas that wasn't annexed that year. So, those are the type of things that I'm passionate about, is sticking up for the people in my area, and I'll even do it for the county. Water is always an issue. Rockport used to have its own water wells. They still do. Are they still functional? Probably not, but they are still there, and that's something that needs to be researched. How deep are they? We don't know yet. I haven't heard how deep they are, but there's one out on Ivy Lane that just has a concrete block over it, so that one's not apparently plugged properly. We have such good neighbors in the community. Everybody knows who's supposed to be in their neighborhood and who isn't. Everybody watches out for everybody in our community, and that's something that's really great, because you know who's supposed to be in your neighborhood, and when it's not, we bird dog them going down the street. That's what's so great about where we live, even though we have some bad issues and stuff. The cops are doing great. The drive-bys extremely help. So that's something that we always want to have the sheriff and the city police keep doing, is drive-bys in the problem areas, because everybody knows where the problem areas are for crime and thievery. I just want us to be respectful of the taxpayers' money, because if we can't be respectful of taxpayers' money and just spend it frivolously, we're not going to get to a point where we can move Aransas County where it needs to be and be a thriving community instead of a struggling community. That's just my opinion, and I hope everybody agrees. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, gentlemen. Okay, we're going to get into the forum questions. I first want to tell the audience there are some cue cards right there. If you guys want to write down your questions, y'all have anything that y'all want to ask the candidates, there is going to be a time in the forum, so that way I will read your questions out. Like I said, just make sure the questions are respectful and pertaining to what these guys can do at that level in which they're running. So the first question is, we all know hurricane season is coming. They just had a disaster preparedness and readiness panel. I was just there the other day. So the first question is, Aransas County's location in the peninsula gives it very limited evacuation options, and communities such as Aransas County, things like Lamar, Holiday Beach, Rockport, Fulton, sit at the end of a long road where there are a few ways out. What specific steps would you take to improve evacuation routes, emergency communications, and preparedness infrastructure for the most vulnerable parts of Aransas County? Mr. Solis, you can go first.
Yes. Okay, the evacuation routes for Aransas County would be all the which way the storm's coming in. We got evacuation 35, heading north, hit 239 and going out that way. Or you're going to hit 188, hit 37, or go hit 59. Or you can go all the way to Culver Street, hit 37, and you're going to hit the same roads again. If you go 188, you can also turn on 136, hit FM 2165, all the way to FM 774. You can hit 77 and take you to Florida County, or you can take it to Goliad County, and then you go on to San Antonio that way. And to prepare everything is once the hurricane storm gets into the Gulf, we have emergency situations set up at every county where everybody will be there. The judge, the mayor, and the commissioners, and all the first responders in Aransas County will be there. And they'll be talking from people from all the way from Brownsville, all the way down, all the way to Florida. And people be talking about it and give us the ideas which way the storm's going to go. You never know where the storm's going to be here. I remember at one time when we were at a Cortina, was supposed to hit Rockport. A turn, it went toward Houston. We had a disaster in US 77 where everybody from Houston came from point A to point B. They were going from Houston all the way down to the valley. And we were wide open.
Time.
I'm okay.
All right. Mr. Mapes.
I remember watching Hurricane Harvey come in, thinking I had time. And then I thought it was, it's not going to get that bad. And that was my mistake. Just being able to get the word out there in ways that people still have their cell phones or everything, just being able to communicate with people during that time of development, whether it's going to increase like Harvey did, or it's just going to stay the same or veer off. You know, personally, I will not want to stay behind again because it was horrible. And, but the only reason I'm glad that I stayed behind was because afterwards we were able to get out there and help clean the roads up so those first responders could get in, and we cleaned up Market Street and part of Pearl Street and areas like that. But it's a touchy situation. We just need to be more aware, and everybody needs to be in tune of our surroundings when something like that's happening, because it can turn bad really quick. Thank you.
Time.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. No, it's okay.
Say something on that?
Yes, you have a 60-second rebuttal, Mr.
Okay.
Solis.
Okay, talk about Harvey here. If you are out there trying to clean up roads before the first responder starts working, that's a no-no. You don't know what's out there. There could be wires in the ground. You get electrocuted. Citizens need to stay home. And they told everybody, citizens stay home. Do not go out until the road is clear. And I know all the police officers and the fire department will want everybody out of the way. All you're doing is just getting in their way when they're trying to do cleanup. You cannot do that. That's part of their job. Citizens do not get near that kind of stuff. Okay. And the second thing is, when Harvey came down, we all knew we all got little waves coming in from, it's going to go this way, it's going to go that way. And it's always going to come somewhere. You always got to be prepared once it hits the Gulf. Make plans. Know exactly where you're going to go to. Medical stuff, and then you got to get your doctors set up out of town and all of that stuff. That's the main thing y'all got to take care of.
Thank you, guys. Next question. is about affordable and workforce housing. A joint workshop between the Rockport City Council and the Aransas County Commissioners Court has already identified a critical need for attainable housing for essential workers like first responders and teachers. Much of the county, like Precinct 2, is unincorporated, which limits certain housing development tools. What role do you see the county playing in creating workforce housing options in and around the community?
In the community or the Precinct 2?
In Precinct 2, particularly.
Precinct 2.
Yeah, in Precinct 2.
Okay.
In your precinct.
Okay.
Thank you.
In Precinct 2, well, we have to really look at that because Precinct 2 is, we got a lot of people that come out, that live out of town. It's not very much places that we can have a community shelter somewhere there. And y'all got to think about it. It's not free for the city or for the county to build something like that. It's expensive. You can go ask for grants, but still the county and city got to put some money up in front to make a grant happen. And once the grant is done, we're hoping that they can reimburse us. If they don't reimburse us, we're stuck with the bill. And we're stuck with trying to maintain that building. So ain't nothing free for anybody here. So y'all got to understand it. And like I said, in Precinct 2, it's hard to say where we can build something like that. And it's going to be hard to find a place without spending a lot of money on it. And if you don't, and I know we're trying to push back on our limits on the budget for this coming year because of that reason. We don't want to raise the taxes, but you never know what's going to happen until we get there. Thank you.
Affordable housing is always going to be an issue. For the teachers, the school board is looking into taking a piece of property that they own. They have a developer interested in developing that to have it available first for teachers, is what I've been told. But affordable housing, I don't see how the county can get involved in that, because if the business can't make it functional and profitable on their own, it's just going to hurt everybody in the community. I hate to say it this way, but in affordable housing today, in this time, is going down and buying an RV, maybe a piece of property and getting it put on, or an RV lot. It's tough that that it's so expensive to live, but Pearl Point is not affordable housing, and I don't think it was ever meant to be, because my nephew works at the steel mill and wanted to live in Rockport, but it was cheaper for him to live on Ocean Drive and drive back and forth to work. Okay, he spent a little bit more money, but he saved on his rent. Utilities there. It's affordable housing is a tough issue. It's up to each individual and how hard they want to work to make a living of what they want to do with themselves and for themselves and their family.
Mr. Solis, you have a rebuttal?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay. This next one is on constituent communication and accountability. Many residents feel disconnected from county decisions. How will you ensure that people in your community have a real voice in county government? And how do you plan to communicate with your constituents on a regular basis?
First of all, if you want to get with the citizens, let them know what's going on there, you have to be going to the county commissioners meetings and not just looking online. They want to see that you out there showing them that you're going to be responsible to give them feedback. I walked a lot of these streets here and I talked to everybody that I could in the precinct 2. And they gave me their concerns. And they say they see me out there in those meetings. And I go to this meeting because I want to hear what they're saying. I don't want to hear it, see it on Facebook or anything like that. Be there, and you can show the guys that you're there, and you're going to tell them what you know and what they said. It's very important to go to those meetings. And I've been going to meetings since June of last year. It was a whole year. And I would like to tell my guys, when I go out there and talk to those people, I tell them, I go to these meetings, I let y'all know what I hear. If y'all want to ask me a question about the roads or anything like that, I'll let y'all know exactly what they're gonna do. Like for instance, we had it on Facebook that they were gonna do Caballero. Well, that's been proven knowing that it was like that for already 6, 7 months. They're going road. The county has a 4-year budget, a plan where they do roads. So that's already there. So if y'all just gonna hear things that comes out on Facebook, it's there. Everybody knows it. If y'all don't listen to it, then y'all don't know what's going on. So I think if you talk to those people,
When I started my campaign, I got the sheet of voters from the voters registration office. I hit about 70% of those people going door to door, and I probably only saw maybe 10%. We are a working community, Precinct 2 is, and it's hard to get with those people. That's why I started the Facebook campaign. And after the primary election, making it through to a runoff, I went down and got that list again. I personally wrote everyone that voted in the primary a personal note and gave them my phone number to contact me. So they have my number, they can get a hold of me. And it's just best for me because, you know, Kate Valero, he brought that issue up. I put it on there and I had to go back out there and return some letters that were returned to sender. I went back out there and the people say they never get any information of when the county's doing road work. They just show up and do the road work. I'm sure it's out there on the county website, but who pays attention to the website? There's more reach on social media than there is just going to the county website or the city website. And that's why I'm on Facebook and I'll always stay on Facebook to keep my people informed.
Mr. Solis, would you have a rebuttal?
Yes, sir.
yeah, I'm not a Facebook troller. I don't go to Facebook and just put anything out there. I'll let you know exactly what's out there, what's on my mind, what has to be done and said. I'm not gonna be out there just talking about tacos or anything like that. I'm going out there and tell you what the community needs to know. When we tell you on Facebook, a lot of people say that they won't see me on Facebook that much because I don't do that. My private life is my private life. If what I do for the commissioner's court, I would do it then. But right now, I'm not gonna go out there and just write things down just to try to get your vote. If you don't understand what I do for a living or what I did and all my work, I don't know what else to tell you. You just gotta pick who the best person is.
Thank you. You have a rebuttal, Scott?
No, I'm good. I'll do that.
Okay. At this time, if the audience has any questions that they may have wrote down, you can hand the cards to me. And that way, I'm going to ask one more question. And after this question, I'm going to ask questions from the audience. If you don't have them ready, after they get through answering this question, have them ready by then, and then I'll pick them up from you, and I'll start reading the audience questions before I get into my questions again. And again, guys, thank y'all so much for showing up. I know there's a lot going on in the county. Bays by the Bay. They had lemonade day today. I had got some lemonade from a couple of stands. It was real good lemonade. So shout out to all the kids. Anybody who got lemonade?
Baseball games.
Oh yeah, and baseball games. It's all types of things going on in Aransas County. So anybody else has a cue card? You can wait for the next one. I'll grab the next one after this one. If you need a pen, y'all may have to share pens. I promise you, I'll have more pens next time. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. So before I read the audience questions, let me make sure I can read your handwriting. Okay. All right. This one is about drainage. Aransas County recently held public meetings on countywide drainage study aimed at identifying flood risks and developing long-term mitigation strategies. As Precinct 2 Commissioner, how would you prioritize completing drainage improvements, and how would you ensure that your precinct does not get left behind in the conversations?
Can I get this, then you can have the rebuttal, because I know you got a better answer than I do. For Precinct 2, the Ruby Allen Drainage Project, if I'm saying that right, may go under another name, but it's a big drainage ditch that they finished up here a while back. That has helped tremendously. The biggest issue that I see for Precinct 2 is just general maintenance of the ditches, especially keeping the culverts clean. My biggest concern for Precinct 2 right now is at Market Street and the bypass, because when we get a rain there, it is horrible. You know, even a small rain, the one side of the access road has always flooded. So to me, in the pavers on the side of Market Street have all slumped down, and that needs to be repaired because that just piles up too quickly. You know, that's my biggest concern for that area right there, because that's a high trafficked area in Precinct 2.
Okay, I'm just gonna finish what he said. The pavers have nothing to do with the drainage issue. And the drainage issue is it's heading out south and toward Cork Ridge Street. That thing's the ground's not developed right. And to fix everything, I got to think about it. It costs money. The county doesn't have that much money. The city don't have that much money, and the state doesn't have that much money. They all spread out their work and throw the money out the best way they can. For us to compete in Precinct 2 or the whole county to clean out ditches, culverts, and everything, we cannot afford it. We do not have enough time, manpower to do that kind of stuff. So if you want to go out there and try to fix these roads, the county engineer has a plan where he does so much in each precinct. He cannot just stick to Precinct 2. So he cannot stay there 6-7 months on just one precinct. Everything gets spread out. So it takes time for them to clear these things out. And honestly, the citizens of Aransas County need to do their part to clean their little front of their ditches. Because no matter how big a pipe you got in there, the dirt's gonna come in. If you got a 24-inch, and maybe in a year or two, it's gonna be a 16-inch pipe, because you got nothing but dirt there.
Time.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Mr. Mapes. Oh, you already answered?
Hey, go
Oh, okay. Do you want to rebuttal?
No, I'm fine.
Okay. At this time, we're going to read off the questions from the audience. And this first one is directed right at Mr. Solis. Mr. Solis, you said you managed $1 million budget. What was that for? Refugio's entire budget or just your part?
Referral county budget. This budget that we do is not just it's for raises, and it's also for our hurricane preparations, buying material for roads, and material for roads come with a whole bunch of other stuff like oil, gas, diesel, and then we got to keep upkeep in our office, keep our equipment running, buy new tires, change the oil, and it just is a whole bunch of stuff in there. I think the way I see the budget for the in the county is they're breaking into the little sections, but we got just my office, and my office has $1 million budget, and that also goes taking care of contracts. Where we have the contracts out there, we have to look at that budget and make sure that the mowing's done right, and keep that budget, guardrail budget, signs, uh, uh, road, bridges, everything. It's all combined to one big budget. It just ain't one small budget. I mean, it's just not just the office. It's the whole referral county.
All right. On that? Sure. Go ahead.
On budgets, being in business for 25 years, I don't care if you have 1 0 on the end of your budget, 3 zeros, 8 or 10 zeros. It all works the same. If you can't budget your money at your house, you can't budget your money at the government. So that's where we need to be. And I just feel that everybody's department in the county should be looked at to see where they can cut 10% or just back up a little bit and say, if I can't cut 10%, can I make my department more efficient?
Want a rebuttal?
Yes, sir.
60 seconds for a rebuttal.
Okay, well, he just said there about cutting the office and everything. That's already been out there. They're already talking about doing that right now. Our county is trying to bring the budget down, not try to bring the taxes up. And it could happen. Like I said, we can't guarantee nothing until later on when they get to September, October, they will know where the budget is. But they have asked everybody in the office to try to bring the budget down a percentage so they can figure out how they're going to save money and get everything going. And when you go to the commissioner, you hear everything they got there.
All right.
I'm sorry.
No.
Oh, sorry. I thought you said timeout. Just, hey, that's good. That's good. That's
All right, yeah.
hey, just tap me out, man.
All right. What we're gonna do, appreciate it.
Okay.
What we're gonna do before you do that, being that these are the audience's questions, we're gonna give each of you 2 minutes, being that this is coming from the audience. So that way you get 2 minutes, and then if need be, we'll give you extra 60 seconds. I don't want you guys to feel like you're rushed.
Okay.
Because it sounds like you kind of rushing a little bit. And I want you guys to, yeah. I want you guys to give
the time.
right.
We're just talking.
I want you guys to give a real good, straight answer without feeling rushed. So
Just go ahead. We just go ahead and do the next question.
yeah,
That's fine.
since there's not a lot of questions, I'll let you guys do 2. So on this one, if you want to give a rebuttal, go ahead and give your rebuttal, and then the next questions, just know that you got 2 minutes. So if you want to rebut that last one, or y'all want
No,
to
I'm good.
Okay.
Go another one.
All right. The next one comes from the audience. This is for both of you. Rockport Marina Village Development. What do you know about it?
No idea. Rockport Marine Village you're talking about?
Marina Village?
Marina Village. I have no idea what that is. And it may be a trailer park. I'm not quite sure. If it is, first time I heard about it. I don't know. Anybody else heard about it? Have you heard?
I
I
did.
interject here. I wrote that question. It's all the property east of Austin Street. Used to have the old pavilion. They just approved the initial plan to redevelop all that property.
But that's a city thing. Okay. We're here for
I believe it's the county as well with the.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. Okay. Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about now.
Yeah.
Okay, I know what you're talking about. In downtown. Okay, now I know what you're talking about. Okay, on that one right there, I went to the rooftop meeting, and I talked to them, and when we were there talking, I told them like this, and I said that land you got right there is spoiled land. Honestly, that land, if you start digging and you say you're going to dig out this dirt, and you're going to dig so far, and that water's going to push up. Anything that's contaminated there, it's going to contaminate the whole area. Bulkhead is messed up. And my thing is, why we're trying to build something right now when we don't got the water to give them. And then they want to give us a 25-year plan for the city that once they do it, they're going to give it to the city. If y'all know anything about roads and all that stuff, in 25 years, it's going to decay. The city's going to be stuck with all that mess. If they can do it in 15 years and do a re-study on what's there for the city, and then they got anything broken or needs to be repaired, they need to fix it. The people who designed this stuff before they give it back to us. And if you don't, it's gonna cost the city too much money because city cannot afford to do anything, not even annex anything. They're trying to annex, like he was saying, our property for 20 years. They can't do it. They haven't got the money, the funds to even fix the road they got now. So why are they going to annex anything? And that thing that you're talking about, they call me to go over there, and I explained to them what I see there. It's going to cost them $40-60 million, maybe just for the bulkhead. They got to tear it all out and start all over, and it's going to be a big mess. So that's all I got to say for that.
That's time? Okay. You want to rebut that?
Yes.
60-second rebuttal.
Here's what I can say about TERS project. The groups that were involved in that, I feel courted us candidates. If I was on Commissioner's Court when this happened, between the Navigation District, City Council, and Commissioner's Court, there would have been 2 no votes straight up. I would have been one of them. And there was only one other person that voted no on this. If a business, a developer, cannot do it on his own merits, why do we have to get involved? If it's not profitable to build a chicken coop, there's no sense of building a chicken coop. And there's other issues with the soil down there and Little Bay that need to be addressed also. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen, for that. Another question from the audience. This is for both of you. What are your top 3 priorities for Aransas County? Several county roads are in desperate need of repair. What would be your approach to using the taxpayer dollars to get the roads repaired?
First of all, I need to know which road it is and where we're going to be at. Precinct 2, 1, 3, or 4. And it doesn't really matter because, like I said, the county got the 4-year plan where they got their money already set aside for those jobs. They may have a plan right now for 4 years. If there's something that needs to be done first, they will push that other roads back and bring something else back if it's in real bad need. Now, you got to think about it. The money that they get in the road and bridge is not a lot that's going to do everything that we want in all the precincts. That's why they got a 4-year plan, because the money just ain't there. And everything costs a lot more. Everything's going higher and higher. Raw material, fuel, employees working, their wages go up. And, the budget's not there for us to be giving them money all the time. Well, not us, for the commissioners now. And that's the thing that they got to work on. But to fix roads, you got to think about it. It all depends. You can do a base repair, small one or big one. And then when you do the road repair, you have to use the equipment. And if that equipment breaks down, it pushes everything back a little bit more. So, and I talked to some people there at the rolling bridge. I tried to talk them into introducing to try to rent equipment instead of trying to have equipment that you buy. If we rent it, it's cheaper. They take care of everything for us. We don't do nothing. But to build roads, y'all got to think it's a lot of work, a lot of hard work out there, and it costs a lot of money.
Mr. Mapes?
Roads are always an issue. I feel my area is the reseal project has been pretty good. We see it every 3 or 4 years, it seems like. And it's been working. But Lord, what was the question again?
What are your
Areas,
top
benefits
3
for
priorities
precinct.
for Aransas County? And
Well, for Aransas County, a big issue is I'd like to see more community involvement out of Precinct 2 and the other areas, because Precinct 2 is a working man area. We are the small businesses. We are the lawnmower guys. We are the landscaping guys. We are a lot of the fishermen live here, but not all of them. But it's the backbone of the company. When we get home at 5, 6, 7 o'clock at night, we're tired. We're too tired to go out and vote. We just want to, hopefully dinner's ready and we don't have to cook it ourselves. Just a better quality of life for the Aransas County residents to enjoy, because not all of us can get down there and enjoy the festivals that go on because, we got parking issues and things like that down there, but that's a navigation deal and we don't have to go there.
Mr. Solis, you got a rebuttal?
Um,
Okay. Another question. After this question, I'm going to go back into my questions that I have down. If any of you guys wrote any more questions after this one, you can hand them to me and then I'll read them towards the end. Timekeeper, what time is it right now?
443.
4:43. Oh, okay. All right. Well, we're gonna cut these questions down. As a precinct commissioner, not only do you affect decisions about Precinct 2, but all of the precincts. County budget items such as emergency systems, first responders, emergency preparedness, etc. Even tourism and how the events impact our city. What is the most important thing you will vote on to improve our county as a whole, not just Precinct 2?
First of all, for us to vote, and you got to think about it, there's four precinct guys out there. Now, one person can say, I want that. And everybody's going to say, okay, we'll give it to you. No, they all got to vote the same way. You cannot just think that because you're in precinct 2, is that you're going to get what you want. It doesn't work that way. It takes 4 commissioners and the judge to pass it. It could be 1 or 2 that may not, but you still have 3 other people. So not everybody can agree, but you can disagree and still be friends tomorrow. But the thing is, for us to get everybody there, we have to go back to the taxes. We got to figure out how we're going to work our taxes to make sure we can spread the money to different offices and keep everything running perfectly. And you're not going to do it perfectly. Nobody's going to be happy. And the last commissioners meeting I was there, I'm not going to say much about it, but they were talking about what everybody wanted and studies and this and that. And I understand that. When I was at the state, we went through the same thing trying to get money back and forth. And that's going to be one hard thing. And I'm glad I'm not there this year to do that. But I will be there next year and we will sit down and talk about it too. But like I say, I listened to these guys and when I walked out, I was just shaking my head and I just said, good luck, Judge, and the rest of the guys. I don't have to worry about it.
To make it better for the people, I'd like to see better oversight. One example is the emergency response, emergency systems that we have in the county. After Hurricane Harvey, we got an emergency generator put in. There wasn't enough foresight at the time to say that this building 150 foot away should have been hooked up on a generator because we had enough power to do it. That's the type of things that we need to plan on and think ahead, say, whoa, what if can we connect this and make it functional with what we have? Or do we have to wait to be able to do it? And just being able to have the foresight to think, instead of buying another generator or getting a contractor back in there and doing some things, let's just have the foresight to ask the questions and maybe question why we're going to do it that way.
You have a rebuttal? At this time, does anybody from the audience have any more questions they would like to submit? Okay, thank you. County commissioner is more than just your precinct, like the last person who submitted the question said. It takes a consensus, takes relationships. You may not always agree. What would be your approach to working with the other commissioners and the judge?
Whether we agree on it or not, but what we need to do is disagree to come together to find a solution that works and is affordable. I'll be the first one to admit, if I don't like the idea, I'm gonna tell you I don't like the idea, but we're going, let's try to work through it, because something, we need to do it, but, you know, we need to get there, and we have this different opinions on how to get there. Let's get there and solve the problems of what we dislike about how we're getting there, but we get there. I just want to work with people to find a solution to the problem instead of just saying no. You know, you can say no, but still get to an acceptable yes.
Okay, like I said, I've been to the commissioners for a whole year. I see how these guys talk. Somebody may not agree with it, and the other three may, and then I see them, they talked about it. It's a friendly talk, and they finally get the right things done. If they can't do it, that's another option. Like they table it, they can table it for next time, or they can just go ahead and make a decision on it, and it follows through that way. But you're not gonna make everybody happy in a commissioner's court, not for any precinct and all that. You just try to do what's best for our citizens of Aransas County, not precinct 2, but the whole thing. Because when I go out there and vote, I'm gonna vote for all the precincts, not just precinct 2. And I'm not gonna just vote on the budget if this is a red budget or a blue budget. It's a citizen's budget. It's a citizen's money. Y'all got to understand that. And for them to, when they go out there and see me at the meetings, and I see their faces and their frowns and everything, and I see that they're thinking other things too. And there's 5 people up there, they got 5 different minds. And they all think about what's best for us as citizens for Aransas County and for our tax money. So we got to understand that nobody's gonna be happy, but things happen. We gotta live with it and figure out how we're gonna make it better for everybody later on. And if you go to those meetings, you see the faces on these commissioners and the judge, and how they kind of don't want to show feelings, but you can tell their feelings by just looking at it. If you see them for a year, you know exactly how they feel and how they act, and which way they may vote and may not vote. So people would know once you're there, you know which way is going to vote, and they get the agenda early, probably a week in advance, and they can look at it and decide how they want to do it.
Sure, you got 60 seconds to rebuttal, Mr. H.
Personally, I don't care what the other commissioner's opinion is on something or the judge's opinion is. I want to do what's right for the county. If we disagree, I don't want to know their opinion up front. I don't want to have backroom conversations or hearsay coming in from any directions. I want to be able to make that decision for myself, working together with the commissioners and the judge. But I want to be able to tell my people if I voted yes or no, why I voted yes or no, and I want to be able to sleep at night knowing that I did the best I could voting the way I did.
Timekeeper, what time is it? 4:51. Okay, this is going to be the last question, and then we're going to get into closing closing speech. This one is about countywide Goose Island, ecotourism, and coastal infrastructure. Aransas County recently received state funding for shoreline protection of Goose Island State Park and improvements to places like the Fulton Fishing Pier and Fulton Park shoreline access. Ecotourism and fishing are major economic drivers in the county, especially in Precinct 2. How would you work with state and federal partners to protect and improve public access to places like Goose Island and other natural assets in the precinct? And how do you balance conservation with development pressure?
This is Grand thing you're talking about?
This is Goose Island and ecotourism.
Got it, but it's for the grant money that they're getting, or
They receive state funding for
funding, so-
shoreline protection at Goose Island State Park
okay.
and improvements to places like the Fulton Fishing Pier and Fulton Park shoreline access. Ecotourism and fishing are major economic drivers in the county. How would you work with state and federal partners to protect and improve public access and other natural assets in the precinct? And how would you balance conservation with development pressure?
Okay, you're asking a question that's big question there. Because when you go and try to get funding from the state, federal, and all that stuff, it's not just like you just got funding just for one thing. It spreads out. Everything's there and it's supposed to be spent a certain way, done a certain way, and the money needs to be go to those things. And then if you're trying to say how we're going to do that conservation and all that stuff, you got GO who's going to be looking over us. Then you're going to have also the civil engineers, all kinds of people looking at you and make sure you do everything the proper way. So there's a lot of things out there that you have to look at. And we can't just say we're going to just do it. It's up to what's the design and what's the plans and what's going to be allowed to do. The county can just go out there and say, well, this is what we're going to do. And if it's water out there, there's a lot of engineers and everything's going to have to be involved in it. And that, I mean, it can take years just to get the plans out there, try to get everything figured out, who's going to be able to do what. So what you're asking is a development already in progress. And it makes it hard to kind of answer that question where you didn't start from point A and you want to start and finish in point D. And like I say, it's just hard because you don't see what's coming up in there and how it was planned out on those jobs. And once you find out how the plan is, then you know which way you're going to step here and which way you can and cannot do.
I'm going to turn it to a different area that I know a little bit more about. You know, I love Goose Island State Park and I love the Fulton Pier. The Bailey Ranch, the 950 acres ish that the county has. Commissioner's Court just allowed them to move for Aransas Pathways $80,000 from the kayak launch near Airport Road to go out to Bailey Ranch so they can do some work out there. Bailey Ranch is going to have to be developed, and that's going to be our next big ecotourism area. And we need to be careful on how we do it because it is a beautiful area that's going to have a lot of benefits if we do it right. I'm just want to make sure that that we do it properly and we don't impose on those wetland areas. There's some good areas in there that could be functional to benefit the county in other ways, but protecting those wetlands and doing the pathways back there would be a great thing.
Mr. Solis, you have a rebuttal?
Okay.
All right. At this time, first of all, I want to say thank you, gentlemen, for answering the questions the best way that you could. Thank you to the audience for submitting the questions. At this time, we're going to allow you guys, I'll say 2 minutes each. 2 minutes each for your closing comments about why the voters should vote for you and why you're the best candidate.
All righty. Here, like I said, where I worked at and everything, I'm just going to read some stuff here. The first thing you would think about in our county, we got to worry first about public safety. That got to be the first thing that we worry about, public safety. And then after that, we got to worry about how we're going to approach everything with the tax dollars we do have or shortfall we're going to have in our budget. We don't want to raise the budget. We want to raise taxes, but the way inflation is, you may not have no choice. And going back to the budget, if you don't have to read that budget the way they have it in those books, you're going to be lost. If you don't know what each function means for each office and all this, you're going to be lost. If you've never done it before, and I ain't talking about just 5 or 6 different line items, you're talking about 20, 30 line items in different offices. So it's a lot. And then like I said, the water crisis is something we have to really worry about, think about, and we know that the city's in charge of the water. The judge, when the city says that they want to do this with the water, the judge says the whole county with a water restriction. So let everybody know, not just the city, but the judge's authorities to tell everybody that's what we're going to do. It's like he does with the burn ban. It all goes that direction. Okay, if you want somebody that's going to be a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week person, I'm the guy. Like I said, I go to all the meetings there for a reason because I want to show the citizens I'm there to represent the whole county, not just precinct 2. And I'm there to work with them and make sure that our money is spent the right way with all the commissioners helping us out and the judge to make sure everything runs properly and have. Guys, okay.
I will do my best to do what's right for Aransas County. I don't care if you're red, blue, pink, or purple. It doesn't matter. What matters is we focus on the growth of the community where we don't have to spend money. There's ways to do that. There's grants available for some things. It's just better if we just not bicker about it, but taking a budget and worrying about a budget issue, we have people that do that. It's the commissioner's job to double check those numbers, but we have people to do that and we have audits to help take care of that. You know, we are still the ones responsible for it when we vote, but by God, let's just be responsible with the people's money. You know, it got carried away several years ago and it's finally getting under control. And once it's under control, it's easier to maintain than getting out of the hole. Getting out of a hole is a hard thing to do. When you're behind on a couple car payments, it's rough getting back on your feet. Those are the type of things that I will do for the county is I'll always ask questions. They may not be the right questions. They may be a stupid question. I don't care, but I will ask the question so I can give an answer so the residents of Aransas County can understand it. Like this TERS project, you know, I'm not a big fan of that. I'm not a big fan of giving tax abatements to other people either. I just have issues with businesses not doing it on their own because any of the small businesses in Aransas County never got a tax break or a tax increment reinvestment zone to do anything on their property or start their business. It's just everybody needs to be responsible and take the time and work together to find the correct solution.
All right, gentlemen. First, again, I want to say thank you so much for taking the time to answer questions from the audience and also just answering questions about the county and your precinct. I hope the voters saw, you know, whatever candidate they're going to vote for. Early voting starts next week. But I also want to let the audience know that there's going to be another forum at Bay Area Brewing on the 19th from 6 to 8 p.m. So if you guys have time, please show up. Bay Area Brewing is a local business. That's Will and Deidre. Very good people. I've met them. So if y'all have time, please come out. And just thank y'all so much for just taking the time again to just hear these guys out. It's very important for the community. And with that being said, we're going to go ahead and close right now. Again, thank y'all so much. Like I said, I'm always on time. So